It's April 1st, 2021. I'm Todd Dunn, and I'm back in Bar Harbor today. And as you can see, it's not the nicest day. It is raining steadily. Earlier on the way over, it was raining hard. Just go out as usual to the town dock, have a look at it, and see what's going on out there. See, not too many tourists today, and the islands are a little bit indistinct. Even Bar Island, which is only a couple hundred yards away, is just barely visible because of fog. I'm going to step out very briefly and show you the harbor. Well, I'm out on the edge of the town dock looking west, and there's the bar to Bar Island. I don't know if you can see it, but there is a car driving across the bar right now. So it's easy to get over to Bar Island. A little indistinct out there in the fog. Let me walk over here. Glad I brought the GoPro today because it is raining, and fortunately the GoPro is waterproof. As we look out toward the porcupines, I don't know if it's going to show up on the video, but there is just a very faint outline of one island, and then can't see anything to the southeast, and just a little bit to the east. There's the Bar Harbor Inn up there, and Acadia Park in the rain. Not too overrun with tourists right now. Although this rain, it's fairly warm, around 50 degrees, will help the grass green up a little bit. We're supposed to get 1.5 inches of rain. And here we go, looking at some of the other buildings here on the waterfront. And you can just barely see the hill to the west there. And there we are looking at Cadillac Mountain, which is invisible in the fog. Okay, let's head up Main Street, and then I'll just cruise around town a little bit. Well, here I am in the middle of Main Street. As you can see, it's pretty heavily overrun with tourists today. And another beautiful day here in Bar Harbor. Let's walk over into Acadia Park and see how it is over here. Well, I'm finished with the grocery store and I'm headed out of town. I've got a little time, so I will spend a few minutes sort of cruising some of the side streets here in Bar Harbor. This is a street that goes from Cottage over to Mount Desert Street. It's very narrow. It is a two-way street, but it's so narrow that in most places very hard for two cars to pass. And pretty much all the homes along here, with a very few exceptions, are bed and breakfasts or inns of one sort or another. And here we come up to Mount Desert Street. Make a right turn, and then I'm going to go up a street I've never been on, so I do not know where it goes, but we'll find out. Normally when I get to the stoplight here I go straight through, but today I'm going to turn left, which will be a bit of a difference, because as I said, I have never gone that way before. Still raining. Rain has picked up a little. It's not heavy rain, but it's enough that you'll get wet if you're out here walking around. The Quality Inn is still closed, although it looks like they've got people in there working on it. We probably have around 6 weeks before they open. And we're going to go up the hill a little bit. Now this area here was completely burned out in the 1947 fire. And as you can see, it's been rebuilt, mostly with private homes. This was an area that was populated by large estates. The stone wall here is a former estate boundary, and I think the area is a little bit less built up with estates now. So we're up on the hill above the main part of Bar Harbor, kind of cruising through residential district. Follow this road for a while. As I said, I've never been on this road before, so I don't know where it goes. But as you can see, it doesn't take long from downtown Bar Harbor until you're basically out in the countryside. Now there are homes here, but we have gotten into a more rural part of Bar Harbor. Okay, I'm going to turn left here and we'll head back down into town, I think. This is basically going back the same way, but a little bit lower on the hill. Big lots here with quite large homes on them. This is an area, as I said, where there used to be large estates or cottages. But we are right now about 2 minutes from downtown Bar Harbor. But as you can see, it's quite rural. And here's a cemetery. Closed. Descend back into the city. And I think I'll turn left here. There's some municipal works over here. This is the wastewater plant. Oh boy. An exciting part of Bar Harbor for tourists, the sewage treatment plant. I think I have been down here before. This road goes just a little bit further over and comes out at Main Street, a little bit south of the main part of town. And again, up on the hill here, this area was completely burned out by the fire. So all of these homes are new since 1947. And most of them look quite a bit newer. Okay, here we go back to Main Street. We'll head back into town on Main Street from the south. They were working on the road up here. I think you can see all the flashing lights ahead. So I'm not going to go that far up. I will turn and we'll cut through a little bit more of residential Bar Harbor today, as the town is getting ready for summer visitors. And this just gives you an idea of what you can expect, because we've had a very, very mild winter. And in the past, when we've had a mild winter, spring just continued through most of the summer, and it was like this till August. So, hope you enjoy your visit to Bar Harbor in the rain in a couple of months. I'm going past the YMCA. streets are a little bit flooded. And we'll go up here and turn on Ledgelawn Avenue, which goes back out to Mount Desert Street. So we've made a tour of a good deal of Bar Harbor. This is mostly a residential area in here, although I'm sure there are probably a few bed and breakfasts. Some of the bigger houses, like this one, may well be a bed and breakfast. As we continue back toward the main part of town. Some nice older homes. Brick house there. And right up here we get to Mount Desert Street. If we turn right, we will go about 2 blocks and be at Main Street. And if we turn left, we will head out of town. I'll keep filming as I leave town, just so I can show you another feature of the island at this time of year. Actually, we were here a couple minutes ago, so I'll stop until we get to an area we haven't been in. We're back in Acadia National Park, just past the road that goes up to Cadillac Mountain. It's the road that goes over the highway here on this bridge. And I believe they're scheduled to open it in about 2 weeks. So the next time I come over here, if the weather is okay, I think I'll take you up to the top of Cadillac Mountain and get a little bit of a look around before the tourist crowds get going. And we'll be up here to Eagle Lake in just a couple of minutes as we drive through a bit of Acadia National Park. Eagle Lake, of course, has a carriage road all the way around it. And it is also the source of Bar Harbor's municipal water. Believe it or not, the water system predates the park, but has continued. And there is a tiny little bit of land right on the shore of Eagle Lake that's still owned by the town of Bar Harbor. And here we go, just about to the Eagle Lake carriage road access. This is kind of typical right up here of what carriage road access looks like right now. It's blocked off because the carriage roads are closed. They do that every spring. When the snow melts out, the carriage roads are very, very soft and easily damaged, so they shut them down and keep everybody off them until the snow completely melts out, all the ice is gone, and the roads have dried out and firmed up enough that they can be walked on or biked on without damaging the carriage roads. Okay, I'm going to stop for a while because we're just driving through a bit of the park on the left and private land on the right, and it's not that interesting. Okay, we're just about at the middle of the island. I don't know if you can see it through the trees there, but we're going past the north end of Somme Sound. There it is. And it won't be long until we're back in the woods. Okay, I'm taking a little side trip. I just passed through Somesville, and I was headed towards Southwest Harbor, and I decided to head down the Hall Quarry Road. Hall Quarry is a village in the town of Mount Desert, which is along the shore of Somme Sound. but on the west side of Somme Sound. And this area is called Hall Quarry because 100 years ago, maybe a little more than that, there were several granite quarries down here, right on the edge of Somme Sound, and they used to transport the granite south on schooners, and they would sail it south. And we'll go down and see how close we can get to the water. I haven't come up here for years. You can see just alongside the road there are lots of granite blocks because there's very little topsoil here, and it's quite well drained, and that's why there are so many pine trees here, which is a little unusual for Mount Desert Island. There aren't a lot of areas with a lot of pine trees. And we will continue descending down toward Somme Sound. Down to the water's edge if I can find the right road. This is quite a nice area to move into. We'll turn here. I believe this goes down toward John Williams Boat Company, which is also called Hall Quarry Boatyard. And we'll go take a look. This will take us right down to the water. And here we go. You can see Somme Sound through the trees. This boatyard sits in front of two of the major granite quarries and is built on spoil from the quarries. That's what all these blocks of rock are. These are pieces of granite that weren't usable, so they just left them lying around. And the entire flat area here by the water is granite spoil. And along the shore are the old granite docks that the schooners would dock at. And I'm just coming over here because I think we can see one of the granite quarries, or what's left of it. And I'm going to turn around because I am on private property now. And we will head out. This is a working boatyard. They also, if they get orders, build boats here. Boats of this type. Nice little power boats. And they also used to build able sailboats here. So we'll head up out of the boatyard. Continue driving through the village of Hall Quarry. Now, except for the boatyard, this little village is essentially 100% residential. I am not personally aware of any businesses down here, but that may simply be ignorance on my part. Get back to the main road. Quite nice homes here, and the forest here is relatively open, so it makes a very pleasant area to have a home. Okay, now this road is a sort of crescent shaped road. It starts on the main road, comes down over here to Hall Quarry and then loops back to the main road a bit closer to Southwest Harbor. So this is what it looks like down in Hall Quarry. Okay, I'll stop until we get into Southwest Harbor. Alright, I'm in Southwest Harbor, but we're on the south side of the harbor in the Manset part of Southwest Harbor, and I'm going to go down to the waterfront. There's a little loop down here that goes down to Shore Boulevard, which is coincidentally along the shore. And straight ahead you can see the harbor, and the white building with the red roof on the other side of the harbor is one of the Coast Guard buildings. The building is a boat shed, has an interesting history. When they built it a few years ago, they made the door in the building too small to get one of their boats into the building on the travel lift, so they had to take the door off and rebuild it. Now here are some waterfront homes on this part of Southwest Harbor. As you can see, they like their privacy. This one was for sale earlier in the year. I don't know what it sold for, but it appears to have sold. And we'll pull into the town dock over here, the Manset Town Dock in Southwest Harbor. And take a look out over the water. The rain, fortunately, is just a mist now, so it shouldn't be too bad to walk out here. So here we are, looking east. That is Sutton Island, sort of lost in the fog out there, and Greening Island here, and the hills of Mount Desert Island on the other side, what you can see of them today. Here's the town dock, and I'll walk over and we'll look up the harbor a little bit. It's a little less crowded here on April 1st than it will be in about 2 months. The boatyards are going to start launching boats here in about a month, and they'll really be going all out launching boats early in June. But people are launching things out here in the harbor. You can see floats for docks tied off to moorings. Local mooring company has been launching those and just hanging them on moorings until they are ready to attach them to the docks. So all of these docks here will have floats out at their ends. And there's this rather fancy waterfront house. This one is kind of interesting. This house is the radically rebuilt boathouse for one of the old tourist hotels that used to be here in Southwest Harbor back around 1900. And the hotel that owned this was just up the hill from it and was called Ocean House, but it is long gone. Okay, here we are. The little trailer there is the harbor master's office. He also has an office in the city hall, and that's clearly where he is now. Something new going up behind the little restaurant and inn there. All swathed in blue. I don't know what it is. And over this way we've got the Hinckley Boatyard, which will be my next stop. Well, as you can see, I'm in front of the Hinckley Company. This is a boatyard. It's primarily a maintenance yard now, and storage yard for winter storage. You can see some of the buildings back there. But it was initially founded in the 1930s by Henry R. Hinckley II, who initially built wooden powerboats, and then in the late 30s started building wooden sailboats. There's one of their travel lifts. I don't know if they still do, but they used to have 3 travel lifts, some masts waiting to go on sailboats, a fishing boat, and a nice Hinckley yawl. But Henry R. Hinckley Company, as it was called then, built powerboats and sailboats initially, and during World War II they expanded to include some buildings over on the far side of the harbor, over near where the Coast Guard is now, and they built lots of small wooden boats, patrol boats and things like that for the military. And I understand they built several hundred of them, handcrafted wooden boats. After the war, they built primarily sailboats and transitioned from wood to fiberglass in 1959 or 1960 when they started building the Bermuda 40 yawl and then the Hinckley Pilot 35. And those boats built the reputation of the Hinckley Company as one of the premier sailboat builders in the world. And they continued, owned by Henry R. Hinckley II until the middle 80s, when Henry retired and sold the company. And since then, the company has been through a number of different ownership changes, and they continued building sailboats almost exclusively up until the mid-90s, when they introduced the Hinckley picnic boat, which is a water jet powered powerboat. And they did very well building picnic boats, and gradually transitioned over to what they are now, which is almost exclusively a powerboat building company. Now, up until around 2000, all of the boats they built were built here. And in fact, underneath the sign that says Hinckley, inside that building there and underneath that roll-up door, those were the main boat building bays. And it was not unusual in the 90s to look in those doors when they were open and see half a dozen boats under construction. But once they transitioned over to powerboat construction, they gradually quit building sailboats, and it's been quite a while since they last built a sailboat. Hinckley Company was bought up by a corporate conglomerate, 10 or 15 years ago, and they expanded all over the eastern part of the United States. They have yards here and down in Rhode Island and Florida and Maryland, and I think they even have a couple on the Great Lakes. And they also set up a manufacturing facility in Trenton, Maine, on the mainland here, about 20 miles from here, where they now do all of their boat construction. So this yard is pretty quiet compared to what it used to be 20 to 25 years ago. Okay, that pretty much finishes up today's video. I know it's kind of a long one, but there was a lot to show you today on this rather dreary, foggy, rainy day here on April Fool's Day 2021. I want to say thanks for watching. If you haven't, please subscribe to my channel to see more content like this. And don't forget to click that thumbs up button and click that notification bell so you'll get an indication of when my next video is ready to watch. Thanks for watching.